that he's a hypocrite. I'll tell you, I remember we shared a press conference once, and he said something like, I'm fighting in the main card and you're on the prelims. Now I'm thinking, I have 2 belts. Where are you? Who the f is Paddy Pimblett right now? And why would he deserve to fight me right now? Honestly, if I could choose a fight, I would fight him because I hate him. He's a pain in the ass. I'd love to give that fight to the fans, because for a long time, I believe that in the UFC, you haven't seen a real fight. 2 people who really want to fight each other. And what better way than to fight in front of everyone and put on a show?
That would be a great one. But what excites me more is the fight with Paddy.
Really?
Yeah, that fight excites me even more.
What happened with you two? Because I saw the video where you guys are yelling at each other. Was it in a hotel or something?
Yeah, he said something about Georgia.
Oh, he said something about your country.
Yeah.
What did he say?
He said, like, now I understand why the Russians are bombing Georgia or something, like putting bombs in Georgia. And
whoa.
Like, bro,
whoa.
Don't joke with that.
Yeah,
you can joke about me. Say whatever you want to say about me. Whatever. He's a mushroom. He is this. He is that. Don't talk about war because you don't know how is it.
Right. That's a crazy thing to say.
Don't say that.
Yeah. So that was the beginning of it. It just out of nowhere he said that?
He said that on Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Anyone who's been tracking this feud from the start knows it goes way beyond hype. It's personal. The tension kicked off in London during that wild backstage incident, filled with trash talk and a near brawl before security broke things up. Ever since, both fighters have kept the fire burning, trading shots in interviews, stirring the pot online, and making it obvious that the animosity between them is 100% real.
Oh, Ilia, because he's moving up to 155, right?
Yeah, always.
And you guys have a long history.
Yeah.
That press conference 2 years ago was one of the most fucking entertaining press conferences of all time. Your chirps, like calling him like a fucking chorizo sausage and shit.
That's what he should have changed his name to,
It was funny.
He's changed his nickname to a shit nickname, hasn't he? Like Legend or something.
Yeah.
Should have changed it to El Chorizo. Would have been well funnier.
What do you make of his like involvement? Because that was a long time ago, and now he's kind of fucking leveled up like
yeah,
crazy,
he has.
right?
But we always knew he was a good fighter. Know what I mean? Like that's sort of what pisses me off about him. Even though I hate him and I think he's a bellend, like I wouldn't lie and say he's a shit fighter because he's not. But that's what he says about me, and it made me laugh when he said, "What did he say? He called me fat." That's like, lad, you can't make your weight division anymore that you are champion of, and you're trying to call me fat. He's a midget, lad. He's tiny. He's smaller than Michael Chandler. You'll see what I do to Michael Chandler next Saturday night when I dismantle him, and it'll be a very similar game plan to beat Ilia. He's small. He walks forward, swinging shots. I'll kick him up and down the octagon, and I'll either knock him out or submit him. Like that fight's there down the line. No, 100%. That fight's got to happen. That's a fight that you can have as a pay-per-view main event with no title on the line.
That gives me like chills just thinking about that. The press conferences and shit. That'd be crazy.
The press. They'd have to do a world tour for that, like they did with Aldo McGregor. That'd be fucking hilarious. Yeah, Ilia, you know, it's there anytime. Know what I mean? Anytime, lad.
Because it seems like they don't know what to do. Because Ilia moved up. I don't know if Islam wants to fight him or not. So like he's looking for an opponent.
Yeah.
It seems like this fight is really gonna decide a lot of stuff in that whole division.
Stop tweeting about me all week, lad. He needs to sort his life out.
Him out, please, loudly, shut up, man.
What really surprised fans is that even as Topuria sits undefeated with a belt, facing the elite of his division, he still refuses to let Paddy off the hook. He's made it clear there's unfinished business, and Paddy won't be allowed to dodge it. And truth be told, it makes sense. Love him or hate him, Paddy knows how to draw attention.
Where does he fit not in the top picture? To be honest, I forgot about him. I forgot all about him. Or I would have mentioned him in the cage, you know what I mean? I don't call him hand sanitizer boy anymore, he's now El Chorizo. But as I say, I literally forgot all about him. That's how relevant he is. I'm ranked higher than he is at lightweight. So, you know, I'd love to welcome him to 155. But apparently he's sitting out and waiting for the title shot. But you know, that what I've just done to Chandler's after blueprint to beating him. He's even more of a midget than Chandler is. Like, I'll do the exact same thing to Ilia than what I've done to Chandler.
You were like beefing with like Paddy the Baddy.
The quality of the fighter he is, man, come on, please. Don't even compare me to that boom. because we are on different levels and everyone can see that. It's very disrespectful to me, to my country, to all my people. And he said something. Now I understand why the Russians put the bombs in Georgia. When you start to joke about that kind of things, just make sure that we don't find each other anywhere, because I'm gonna take your fucking head off. He wants to build his hype laughing at people, and that's not the way I'm looking to build a hype.
Paddy's fights always move tickets, and the media can't stop talking about him. Topuria knows that a clash like this would send pay-per-view numbers through the roof. On the other side, Paddy hasn't stayed silent either. Whenever Topuria's name comes up, he laughs it off with that trademark grin, saying, "He's obsessed with me, lad." But deep down, fans believe if the UFC put this fight on the table tomorrow, Paddy would jump at it without hesitation.
He mentioned Dustin, he mentioned Gaethje, he mentioned Armin, that the fight that would really make sense. Can I get a drum roll? Ilia Topuria. These guys, the storyline is there, bro. They're both stars in the UFC. If I'm the UFC, I'm booking Justin Gaethje versus Islam, and then I think you do Ilia Topuria on that fight. Whoever comes out of top gets the next title shot.
You're absolutely right, Henry. If the UFC just like, hey, you know what, let's make the biggest fight we can in that division, because Paddy the Baddy is up there as far as fame right now in that division. I like it, Henry.
So you prefer the Ilia fight?
I like the Ilia fight because if Justin Gaethje is fighting for the title, Dustin wants a retirement fight, Armin and Charles Oliveira are going to do that again. Hey, you hit the nail on the head. Guess what? Winner is ultra popular now and ready to challenge for that title.
I wish they would do that Topuria versus Paddy fight. I know it's different weight classes, but the beef's there.
I mean, just the levels are they're just so different.
Yeah.
And the UFC knows that. They're not stupid.
I feel like Paddy literally is way bigger than Ilia. I'm not saying he'd win or lose. I'm just saying it's crazy to think they're only one weight class difference, but he's way bigger.
Yeah, but if you saw Paddy on weight, close to weight, you'd be like, oh, he's not that huge.
I think you would be like, holy shit, these guys look way different. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just Paddy's a big guy. Yeah, height, just everything. Like me and Schmitty standing next to each other. Way bigger than them.
The big question is, can Paddy really deal with a new version of Topuria, who's evolved into a straight-up monster? That's where the debate kicks in. Some fans argue it's pointless now, saying Ilia is on another level and should only defend his belt against top contenders. But others believe this is a fight that guarantees fireworks and finally puts an end to years of back-and-forth trash talk.
He said, you know, this is only fair that you would question Ilia's fights. Everybody sit down and they do the same thing to me. But if you go look at Ilia's record, as impressive as it is, there's not a guy on that record who a primed Michael Chandler or a primed me wouldn't beat. And he started listing them off. He started listing off. You know, he got the jump on Max, but it was after Max just had a war with Gaethje. Or he went all the way back, talking about the night that Ilia became champion, knocking out Volkanovski. But that Volkanovski had been knocked out in his 2 previous fights. Or 1 previous fight was a knockout, but 2 were losses. You know, he did the math. He started breaking down the math where you have to sit back and think about it and go, okay, I guess that does matter. My mind doesn't generally work that way. I don't usually take a big body of work and then put that into an analysis, but it's a fair thing to do. And Paddy did it. And when Paddy did it, he laid out a pretty strong case. Either way, wherever you fall, I think at a minimum, what we can observe is happening here is MMA has a true rivalry. And there's just not a lot of them out there. I want John Jones and Tom Aspinall to have a rivalry, but they don't yet. They just don't. Not only do they not have a rivalry, they don't even have a contract. They don't even have a date. They haven't even agreed publicly to be fighting each other. I mean, do you see where this is different? And it's such an amazing shift in power. Ilia Topuria is now a bigger star than Paddy the Baddy. Do you want to fight me on that? Do you argue? Because it would be a good argument. Paddy brings an entire nation with him. Ilia brings an entire nation with him. I am giving the nod to Ilia because he's the champion and because his next fight is guaranteed to be main event. Because his last fight was a main event for the World Championship. Paddy has not yet headlined a pay-per-view. I don't know if that's the perfect math. But whether I'm right or I'm wrong, it still proves the same point that when these two met, nobody knew what Ilia Topuria was. I used to call him Mr. Hand Sanitizer because I couldn't pronounce his name. I didn't know if Ilia was a first name, last name, or nickname. I didn't know if Topuria was a first name, last name, or a nickname. And all these guys have done is gone out there and kicked butt. And I remember at the time, I remember backstage when this was going on, I remember Ilia huffing up to Paddy and really wanting something to go down right there. And I remember thinking, hey, Ilia, I was thinking about Ilia's team. Can control your goon. If your meaningless goon puts one hand on Paddy, who is a monetizable commodity right now, you're going to be out of the UFC.
Behind the scenes, many believe the UFC is quietly all for this matchup. And why wouldn't they be? Real animosity, massive fan bases, and a storyline the media can't get enough of. No manufactured hype required. Just close the cage and let them finally settle it once and for all.
If Ilia Topuria fights Charles Oliveira on a pay-per-view, that's a big deal.
Oh, it's going to be a banger fight.
They don't need to wait for an interim belt. They don't need to wait for an undisputed. So, yeah. I don't know how he's going to do it lightweight, though. Maybe you can speak on that. He's a smaller guy coming up.
It's a smaller coming up. It'll be interesting because he is bigger from when I heard him on the Joe Rogan podcast. Like 191, I think he was walking around. It's massive. So for him to cut to 145 seems almost like, how did he do that? But now that he's going up to 155, I always like when athletes go up.
Topuria, the former featherweight champion, coming up to 155 and taking on Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. And if you ask Ilia Topuria, this is just a mere formality because he is going to touch the chin of "Do Bronx." He's going to touch Charles and his chin will explode.
I feel so powerful at 155. I'm going to touch his chin and it will explode.
That is the confidence that he has coming into this fight. That's the confidence that he has going into every single fight. Remember when he fought Volkanovski, he changed the bio on his Instagram to the featherweight champion of the world. Now, of course, he's calling out Islam Makhachev because he ducked him, he ran away from the division because he doesn't want to face him. And yeah, he's going up against Charles "Do Bronx" Oliveira. And as I said, in his mind, it's just a formality. He's going to touch him, he's going to drop him, he's going to knock him out, the chin's going to explode. Whatever you want to call it, he's very, very confident of getting a finish. And I'm not surprised. Out of all of his fights, only 2 have gone to a decision.
So with this extra 10 pounds, how much better do you think you'll be able to perform inside the octagon? Because I would imagine physically that's got to take a toll on you. As good as your performances were, and they were spectacular, but as good as your performances were, your body could not have been operating at 100%.
100%. You are going to see me at 155 that I'm going to touch someone and I'm going to take his lights out. Even if I don't need to touch his chin. I just touch his head and it will explode. I feel so powerful at that weight class. So powerful, so stable in the ground. Like, do you want to wrestle? Let's wrestle. No problem. And I have the gas tank for 5 days, not 5 rounds.
And if this fight actually goes down, one thing's certain. It won't be a slow chess match. Topuria brings raw power and non-stop pressure every time he steps in the cage.
Paddy Pimblett, what a performance. You know, pretty much every question you could ask about that guy now answered. You know, he beat one of the best in the division in Michael Chandler. Give us your thoughts on his performance. What do we do with Chandler now and everything about that fight?
Yeah, people keep counting him out, but he keeps looking better and better and better every time he shows up. Paddy Pimblett showed tonight that he is the real deal. Beating Michael Chandler and beating him the way that he did, I don't know how you can doubt the kid anymore.
It would seem likely that next fight out, he's going to get a big name opponent, right? And probably that would be the one that put him into title contention.
Tonight was a pretty big name opponent too. But yeah, he's in that spot now where he's going to be fighting.
Paddy, on the other hand, thrives in chaos, unpredictable, feeding off the energy of a wild brawl. One thing's for sure, somebody isn't making it to the final bell.
But I'm a different person. I feel that I'm like, my mind goes different, my thought process is different, everything is so different.
Yeah, so dangerous. When he hits you, it's different than anybody, especially with his hands. His boxing is so high level. Because Ilia has superior technique. His hooks are perfect. His distance management is perfect. He's just really, really good. And he's the new guard, right? Like every generation comes up with a new guy who's a new high water mark of technique. He doesn't have any disadvantages. He doesn't have any weaknesses, man. There's people that are thinking maybe he's the best pound for pound fighter alive. It's close. he might be the best.
Ilia happens to be a good friend of mine. I've known him since his first UFC fight, and since he got in, I was telling the world this guy's gonna be a champion. I don't know when, because Max had the belt and then Volkanovski, and I was like, those are tough asks of anybody. But brother, did he fucking above and beyond show me, man?
Because his confidence is next level.
Oh my god! And I've trained with him numerous times. You know, when you go with somebody, it's just dense. It's not even that they're throwing hard. You're just working out, but you can feel this dude, his bones weigh extra fucking 50 pounds than everybody else. You know, he's just dense fucker. So since I was training with him, wrestling with him, I'm like, man, fuck, this guy hits 170 pounds and he's 145. I was telling people that back then. So it's just, obviously in a fight, you don't know if he's gonna get to connect, but I always in the back of my mind, this guy connects on these 45 pounders, bro, he's gonna change him up. Because I remember feeling his power when I'm at 170, 3-4 weeks away from a fight. I'm like, this guy could crack, for real, he could fucking crack,
I haven't seen body shots like that in a very long time, especially not in the featherweight division.
I like the Canelo style, the body shots. And for this fight especially, I train a lot of boxing.
Ilia Topuria was tearing apart Jackson's liver and body while maintaining perfect boxing fundamentals.
The game plan was to hurt him and stand up. And I was knowing that when he gets hurt, he will start to search for the takedown. And I was ready for that.
Landed good body shots, eventually started going upstairs afterwards once Damon Jackson was hurt to the body and just lit him up in that first round.
That set up the headshot and it's all over. That's walk-off KO for Ilia. Chopped him down like a tree.
For now, Ilia's locked in on defending his title and climbing even higher, but has made it clear Paddy the Baddy is still on his hit list.
If I could pick Ilia versus Islam, I would pick that. That would be such a sick fucking fight. I want to see that one.
Dude, anyone who sits there in the pocket and trades with Ilia, though, he's going to end up fucking flooring him. I feel like Diego Lopez would try to sit in there with him a little bit.
What was Ilia's reach? Was it the same as Max?
Yep.
Dude, anytime those short guys have just as long a reach, it's a tricky style. Short but long reach.
Fucking Max, though, dude. Coming off UFC 300, just the fucking BMF. The man knocking out Justin Gaethje flat.
He caught me. That's that. I felt good in there. I felt like I seen everything early. You know what I mean? But he ended up catching me. I was pretty comfortable in the first round, and then we started being we'll start to do more. I was just about to do more, and he caught me. So we knew it would be fast. We knew it would be powerful, obviously. We knew not to be on the cage there and let him catch this.
And if Paddy really wants to prove is more than just hype, this is the fight that could silence every critic in one night. One thing's guaranteed. The fans are demanding it. The fighters are pushing for it. And if the UFC wants a blockbuster payday, they'll lock it in sooner rather than later.
I think if Ilia Topuria he is going to 155. I would like him to see fight Charles Oliveira, fight somebody at 155. Then if you become the #1 contender, then there's no reason Islam shouldn't take that fight. And I think Islam is on board with that.
But I like what you were saying, Topuria versus Oliveira.
Your first introduction at 55. He's kind of the
Oliveira so tall
and dangerous.
So dangerous everywhere. Dangerous striking, huge reach advantage.
Yeah. But if you're Topuria, you're not going to go up to 55 without some sort of guarantee. Because remember, he's giving up the belt, so he's not getting pay-per-view points.
But it's his idea.
Well, because the weight cut's too tough.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's a dangerous fight. Marab calls it stupid to make Ilia Topuria fight Charles Oliveira before Islam Makhachev.
How is that?
Ilia Topuria says he got promised that he would fight for the title if he vacates.
By who? The security guard outside his room?
Yeah, he kind of hinted that he got promised that. I feel like Charles, Ilia...
That'd be fucking fire.
I think Ilia might batter him. The way Charles comes forward with those reckless knees...
And he's got the chin floating up high, too.
Stands up tall like a really tall Muay Thai guy, and Ilia's like a low boxer. That's a dangerous fight for Charles.
It's not fair for 155 pounds.
Right.
But if he move up and he beat somebody like Charles Oliveira, of course. Yeah. And I think, you know what I think? Yeah. I think he can do it. Yeah.
Yo, Henry.
Whoa!
Tell
that ain't fire,
Kush. Hey, 100%. This is exactly how I feel. Yes, I do believe Ilia Topuria can win that fight. You see it. Charles Oliveira gets hurt in a lot of fights, and he gets dropped in a lot of fights. And so now you throw in a guy like Ilia that doesn't just hurt you, he will get you out of there, that mixes up the attack, goes to the body, goes to the head. I think Ilia is the favorite in that fight. Taking nothing away from Charles Oliveira. Charles is very, very dangerous, and Charles is very, very good. But I think Ilia is a favorite in that fight, and I think 100% he goes out there and he gets through Charles Oliveira. You 100%, he's next for that.
So whether you think Paddy truly deserves this shot or not, one thing's for sure, don't blink.